And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the Valley of the Judged. I am your one and only gaming monk, better known as Mildra, and with me I have three of my good brothers and sisters. Ha 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 ha. We have our three-eyed man of way too many dad jokes, good brother Joe.
Hello, everyone.
We have the master of the Wanderer's Library, and the man who is foremost of the policy of shut up and game. Good brother Sig.
Just play the goddamn games, people. It's not that hard.
And the one who is who is the occasional target of cats. Good sister Tabby.
Occasional? Pretty sure it's all the time.
I'm grading on a curve.
Okay, well, I mean, they're not here right now, which is very surprising. Give her a minute.
Yeah.
That's a very wide curve.
So, we are back once again with more of the classes for Draw Steel. And
Yay.
as some of you may have seen with some of the tweets that I've put out when I haven't been roasting the hell out of people who say they want a D&D alternative but aren't willing to put in the damn work. Also, Mario saying in chat, "Hey Monk, why does pop taste so bland in your state? It's Minnesota." Ah ha 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 ha! Very funny, motherfucker. But so last time I believe we delved into the null. No, it wasn't the null, it was the shadow.
Shadow.
Which we initially thought was the game's answer to the rogue. Then we realized, no, this is the game's answer to the assassin, but not shit.
Exactly.
But this one, this was hinted at all the way back in the preview I covered over a year ago for the backer kit run of the game. And yes, Mario, I've heard that one. But the way this class was described very much showed the 4E DNA that we were going to be seeing, and what we've seen since. I feel like I've made a 4E reference on every episode of the Draw Steel season so far.
Huh.
Not inaccurate.
At least when it comes to the classes.
Mm-hmm. When it comes to the classes and some of the core mechanics. Now, that being said, the Tactician is very, very much is continuing in that tradition, because this is a spiritual successor to the Warlord. The earliest form of the Warlord, which is actually one of the newer class concepts, believe it or not, it got its start in the Marshal in 3rd edition. Now, some of you may be going, Marshal, I've never heard of that class. Which is understandable, because the Marshal was in the fucking Miniatures Handbook.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the miniature war game variant of D&D back in the 3rd edition days had a full class for the RPG.
Chainmail, right?
That was before that. There was a separate D&D miniatures game in the early 2000s as well.
All right.
As far as a class, the Marshal was not great. Now I've heard right along with the whole thing of the Assassin Prestige class being in the DM's guide that this was a consequence of running out of space. I will argue that the that the that the that they would have had some space if they didn't have so many spells that were unnecessary or unnecessary individual entries. And hello there, Lucky Crab. I did mean that particular segment, since I do a lot of weekly shows. But the idea with the Marshal and with its successors is the frontline battlefield commander. And some of the decisions were kind of odd. Yes, they were trained in all armor and all simple and martial weapons, much like a fighter. But they have the base attack progression at the same level as rogues and clerics and have a D8 hit die. So they're frontliners who can't do a whole lot of frontlining. In terms of their abilities, it was through auras, which would grant a kind of bonus to allies within 30 feet of you, as well as an extra move action X amount of times per day. You had major and minor auras, and you could only have one of each active at the same time. Each granted circumstance bonuses to allies within 60 feet as long as you were conscious, mobile, and audible. And these would scale with the Marshal's level. A lot of them provided bonuses to checks. But they could be swapped freely. Some of them were... But the thing is, a lot of the auras were just static bonuses aside from the extra move action. And to make them work, there weren't a whole lot of options to work with. So they were... I think they were tier 5. You can make them work. You can make them work through things like the leadership feat, which definitely works if you've got more allies around. That has led to some people having a bunch of level 1 commoners to take advantage of it. You did get things like Draconic auras when Dragon Magic came out. But the problem is the Marshal just felt like a slightly nerfed bard. Like all of the support stuff feels more like a bard than a battlefield commander kind of thing. And the Marshal is more like a NPC class. Same with the other class in the miniatures handbook, the War Mage. There was a multi-class archetype called the Marshal in the Advanced Player's Guide for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. But again, it's a lot of the whole aura effects is still very passive. That's kind of the problem. Like the idea of being a battlefield commander. I think the reason why the itch wasn't fully scratched until we get to the Warlord was a lot of these area of effect abilities that they have. Well, first off, it requires the party to be pretty coordinated around them, which, when encounters are built more around being spread out, that's one issue. The other issue is they're not tanky enough to be a frontliner. Like, they can take a few hits, but if they're going to be that close to being in the fray, they need to be able to take more than what they can. Now that brings us to the Warlord in 4th, which expands to being things like a tactical genius, to a charismatic boss, to the grizzled old vet, to an army official. You get the idea. They were meant to be the representative of both the leader role and the martial power source. Which, incidentally, the whole each class is drawing upon a certain power source is something that I really wish successors had taken and ran with. And thank you for the gifted sub, Mario. I hope Samurai Knight enjoys the fun. I see Dragon in the chat as well. How you doing? But the idea with the leader classes was always they can take hits, but they are not meant to be the ones dishing the heavy amounts of damage. That's the job for defenders and strikers. And the warlord was, unlike the cleric, it was not meant to be a healer. It was there is some degree of healing, but it was more about things like initiative bonuses and, more importantly, giving out extra moves and attacks to the party. This resulted in one build called the Lazy Lord, where they don't attack at all, they just attack using everybody else. There was a saying that made the rounds at this time of a barbarian hits you with his axe, a warlord hits you with his barbarian. And I think that's the reason why the warlord was able to click when the marshal wasn't. Because you're using the party itself as your weapon instead of, well, the weapon that you have equipped. This was something I tried to channel in Legend Edition with the general job. And a general is a army general is one form that this kind of thing can take. I had it with the whole strategies and tactics thing in Legend Edition. Alright, so warlords are Russians? No, because warlords can actually make decent tanks. Look, Russia hasn't made a decent tank since the 70s. Unless you want to count the topless T-90 as a decent tank. With its brand new engine. It's really not brand new. But let's see. But I think somebody, or the funny thing early on is that there were two kind of builds early on with the warlord. There was the inspiring, and then there was the tactical, and then the brava, which a lot of people made the analogy of one of them is Kamina and the other one is Lelouch Lamperouche. Yeah, so yes, we had an incarnation of tactical genius in 4th edition. But if you, it's not for being the hero, but being like the drill sergeant or the traditional term for grognard, not the grognard I constantly disrespect. But apparently there was a power in playtesting that called Feather Me Yon Oath, where you could let the rest of the party get a free ranged attack. But I'd say if I were to use a more recent video game example of the warlord archetype, probably the protagonist in Dynasty Warriors Origins. You can hold your own, but you have a whole kit that's all about team attacks. But for example, with things like commanding presence, whenever an ally would spend an action point, they could do some extra things. Like insightful presence, if they spend an action point to get another action, they get a boost to their defenses based on your wisdom or charisma. Things like inspiring word lets you heal. However, it's a heal that's within a close burst based on your tier. And then Martial Power 2 came along and gave us the Archer Warlord, where you don't get proficiency in chainmail and light shields, but you get it in the highest tier of ranged weapons. But you still use strength for your ranged attacks.
Huh.
There wasn't a direct attempt to try and do this in Pathfinder. The closest thing that we got was the Path of War Warlord that was the third-party thing from Dreamscard. But it's not quite the same. And I've seen some people argue that things like the Battlemaster and Banneret subclasses for the fighter touch on the same themes as the Warlord, as well as the Oath of the Crown Paladin and College of Valor Bard. But I don't think it quite fits. Because from what I've seen with the Battlemaster, the big problem is that a lot of it with, as well as the Banneret, is that a lot of that whole AoE support is still passive.
Yep.
It's kind of.
I can even. In fact, I can even get the book and confirm this. Here.
Yeah, let me double check my notes on the matter. I'm not going to be showing a different PDF for the purpose of that. But
no, it's fine. I actually got the book here. Let me get the fighter here.
I do remember some people saying that I did rant in the past that the Battlemaster was trying to do the maneuver thing that I liked in Next and completely missed the point. But the whole thing of maneuvers, a lot of the maneuvers that you get from combat superiority enhance your own stuff.
Yep.
There's a few that enhance other people's stuff, but it's more about the Battlemaster became kind of this War Master archetype more than a frontline commander. And the Banneret, from what I'm seeing with it, there isn't enough. Like it can do more with Second Wind and do more with Action Surge, but that's it.
Mm-mm.
And even with that, you still have the 5e problem of really, really hamstringing how often you can use features.
Yep.
And that limitation having an issue of the juice is not worth the squeeze. Like, oh, you can get a little bit of a boost to your attacks, but only once per short rest or once per long rest.
Mm-hmm. Can confirm. I've got the book right here.
And I have had many people try and tell me that the once per short rest, long rest dichotomy is the successor to the AEDU thing from 4th edition. Anyone who honestly says that hasn't played 4th, because it isn't. But Merles has claimed that he's spitballed ideas for the idea of a fighters with tactics concept, but nothing came of that, and I'm not surprised because Merles is and always will be the third wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Just a bit.
But that brings us to the Tactician. And we will be asking and answering the question of whether or not the Tactician actually fills the Warlord niche. Though, given what we've seen with the previous classes, I think it might. and go beyond that, because we've had that go beyond approach with the previous classes.
Go further beyond.
Although, I will note with the Tactician art here, that the thing that is making me raise my eyebrow is that attempt at a flak jacket on that guy on the left, with so many pouches you'd think it was a Rob Liefeld character.
Yeah, it doesn't even look good either.
Although, of course, the other joke I could have said is that it looks like these are the poor man's version of the Imperial Guard.
How many coats is he wearing? Because
It looks like it's
Might
all in
be
one.
two?
It's just that the coat is layered.
Mm-hmm. Why you would need to layer your pouches like that, I have no idea.
See, that doesn't look like a soldier to me. All he needs is a hood, and I just imagine him like slowly opening his coat, like, "What are you buying? What are you selling?"
Yeah, but
Great. So now you're bringing back my memories of Resident Evil 4.
Tactician, solving problems with brain and applying steel to someone's midsection. Yeah?
Well, yeah.
Remember one of the rules of combat. If it's stupid, but it works, it's not stupid. So we have the starting characteristics. They start with a might of 2 and a reason of 2, and can choose one of the three spreads for the remaining ones. Their potency is based on reason. Starting stamina is 21, so they're actually on the higher end. Although whenever I hear the merchant, I always think, what do you need that for? Going hunting for an elephant?
Maybe. Don't judge me.
But let me compare that to the... So they have about as much health as the Fury, which is a frontliner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and same setup. So 21 stamina, 9 stamina at second level up, and 10 recoveries. So that issue of a frontliner who can't take hits is not going to be a problem here. Though you shouldn't try and take all the hits, obviously. But
Obviously.
you gain the lead skill, and then 2 other skills from either the alertness, architecture, blacksmithing, brag, culture, empathize, fletching, mechanics, monsters, search, strategy, or the skills of the exploration skill group. If you want a quick build, tick lead, monsters, and strategy. So you get the following features at first level. First, Tactical Doctrine. Should have been called Tactical Genius, but that's just me. I might be biased because I did abuse that rule when I ran a 40k army. It's just that instead of Warhound Titans, because I didn't have any, I used tanks. So somebody thinks they're being sneaky, they turn the corner, and now there's 5 Lehman Russ tanks staring at them. And they don't, and that unit doesn't have any armor. But Tactical Doctrine determines your subclass. Each one will also grant a skill. So the 3 subclasses we have are Insurgent. These are for the tacticians who will fight dirty. I don't care about what the orders say. I'm keeping my men alive. You get a skill from the Intrigue skill group with them. And we have Mastermind. This is the Genius Warlord. This is the Genius Warlord reincarnated, I suppose. you get one from the lore skill group, and the Vanguard, the lead from the front through personality. Someone is making a William Wallace joke in the back, I can hear it.
I still like it. I like the description of the Vanguard.
Yep. You have learned from the stratagems of ancient heroes, letting you lead from the front lines and seek victory through sheer force of will and personality. You gain a skill from the interpersonal skill group. Based on the descriptions of the 3 tactical doctrines, what character in fiction do you think would fit the Insurgent, Mastermind, and Vanguard? And just to piss off traditionalists even more, let's go with entries from like anime and video games.
As far as Insurgent, I'm trying to think.
I'd say Nobunaga in Drifters. Because good lord, could he play dirty.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that. I know who I'm going to answer for Mastermind, though.
Who?
Lelouch v. Britannia.
Yeah, I figured. I already lampshaded that. And for Vanguard?
For Vanguard, I've got one. It's from, I believe it's from Tales of Shilia, Rowan the Conductor.
I could see it. I also see Date Masamune from Sengoku Basara.
Yeah.
Sengoku Basara.
But your heroic resource is focus, which at the start of combat you gain focus equal to your victory. At the start of each turn after the first, you gain 2. Additionally, the first time each combat round you or any ally damages a creature marked by you, you gain 1 focus. The first time in a combat round that any ally within 10 squares of you uses a heroic ability, you gain 1 focus.
Very nice.
We also have a sidebar about Tactician abilities that I suppose I should read out. Many of the Tactician abilities grant allies extra movement, damage, and actions. But what's happening in the fiction to allow this? The Tactician is an incredible strategist and inspiring leader who is quick to give commands and inspiration that causes their allies to act. The Tactician can quickly read the battlefield, analyze enemies, and then bark orders and encouragement that pushes their allies to greatness. Many of the names of the Tactician's abilities are the actual commands they give their friends. If somebody who is playing Tactician does not shout, "You want to live forever," I will be very disappointed.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm. But at first level, you get a feature from your tactical doctrine. Insurgent gets covert operations. So each of your allies gets an edge on tests using any skill from the Intrigue skill group. Additionally, you can use the lead skill to assist another creature with any test made using a skill from the Intrigue group. At the director's decision, you and your allies can use skills from the Intrigue skill group to attempt research or reconnaissance during a negotiation instead of outside a negotiation.
So it's kind of an out-of-combat ability.
Mm-hmm. Mastermind gets Studied Commander. While you are present, each hero with you treats the Discovered Lore project related to a war or battle as 1 category cheaper. We'll get to projects much later in the series. This makes projects seeking common lore free, but such projects still require a respite activity to complete. Additionally, if you have 24 hours or more before a combat encounter or negotiation, and you have 1 or more clues or rumors regarding that encounter or negotiation, you can make a reason test as a respite activity. The following test outcomes apply to the combat encounter. So, in 11 or less, the director tells you the number of creatures in the encounter. 12 to 16, the director tells you the number and level of the creatures. 17 or higher, the creature tells you the tier 2 outcome, and when the encounter begins, all enemies are surprised. Also, see, Amok gets it. But the...
Gaining an advantage before combat even starts.
Mm-hmm. The following... Now, for a negotiation, you could have it that at tier 1, the director gives you 3 motivations, one of which belongs to an NPC in the negotiation. At tier 2, the director gives you 1 motivation for an NPC in the negotiation. At tier 3, same as tier 2, and you and each of your allies gains an edge on tasks made to influence NPCs during the negotiation. You can only make this test once for encounter or negotiation.
Very Picard.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I would
I
say...
know it's not anime or anime or video games on that one, but
I was
it very
only
much
doing
sounds
that for
like
the
only
tactical.
Picard.
I was only doing that for the tactical doctrine thing, just as a meme. But I'd also say has anyone read through Romance of the Three Kingdoms or Record of the Three Kingdoms?
Nope.
No, my
No.
only experience is through games.
The negotiation part reminds me of Zhuge Liang saying, "I will write to him a letter that he might die." Which, if you know anything about Zhuge Liang, he probably could do that.
Just a bit.
But you also get a triggered action based on your doctrine. Insurgent gets Advanced Tactics, which is a ranged triggered action, the trigger being one ally doing damage to another creature. The target gains 2 surges, which they use on the triggering damage. You can spend 1 focus to increase potency on if there's a potency effect associated with the attack, and increase that potency by 1. Mastermind gains Overwatch. No, not that one. I'm not selling you shitty loot boxes. Or lamenting about self-inflicted toxicity. But it is also range 10, targets 1 ally, triggers when the target moves. At any time during the target's movement, 1 ally can make a free strike against them. Sorry, this is 1 creature, not 1 ally. If you spend 1 focus, if the target has under average potency, they are slowed until end of turn. That could be particularly annoying if you have at least 1 character in the party who can do ranged free strikes. Which is most definitely what that's going to be used the most with.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
Or barring that, if you're dealing with a multi-man melee, a way to keep the enemy from trying to shift out. But the Vanguard gets parry. Range is melee 2, targets self or 1 ally. And Hydra says, reminds me of Warlord from 4E. That's what I said earlier. The trigger for parry is a creature dealing damage to the target. You can shift 1 square if the target is you, or if you end the shift adjacent to the target. The target takes half the damage. If the damage has any potency effect associated with it, the potency is decreased by 1. You can spend 1 focus to increase the ability's distance to melee 1 plus your reason score. And you can shift up to a number of squares equal to your reason instead of 1 square. So it is a half damage and shift.
Yep.
But You also gain a field arsenal. You can use and gain the benefits of 2 kits, including both their signature abilities. Whenever you would choose or change one kit, you can choose or change your second kit as well. If both kits grant you the same benefit, you take one or the other, and you can't change your choice until you finish a respite. This usually means taking the higher of the 2 bonuses. For example, if you take the Shining Armor and Sniper kits, you gain the following benefits overall. Stamina bonus of plus 12 per echelon, stability bonus of plus 1, melee damage bonus of 2 across the board, range damage bonus of plus 4 at tier 3, speed bonus of 1, range distance bonus of 10, disengage bonus of 1. And you can use the Patient Shot and Protective Attack signature abilities. Kit signature abilities have their kit's bonuses already applied, which might require you to adjust the bonuses of the signature abilities you gain from a kit. For example, if you take the Martial Artist kit, which gives a melee weapon damage bonus of 2 across the board, and the Mountain kit, which gives a melee weapon damage bonus of 4 at tier 3. If you choose to use the Mountain kit's damage bonus, then the Battle Grace signature ability for the Martial Artist kit loses the 2 across the board bonus from that kit, reducing its usual 5, 8, 11 damage for its tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 to 3, 6, and 9. So essentially, even if you get 2 kits, you can't stack all the bonuses with each other. You got to pick one or the other for it. So even though it says you're picking 2 kits, what you're kind of doing is building a hybrid kit. So you also gain Mark, which is much like with the sensor. Marking your enemies is going to be essential. You can initially only mark one creature using it, though other abilities might let you mark additional ones. When a creature marked by you is within your line of effect, you and allies within your line of effect gain an edge on power rolls made against that creature. Additionally, whenever you or an ally uses an ability to deal rolled damage to a creature marked by you, you can spend 1 focus to get one of the following benefits as a free triggered action. Either A, the ability does extra damage equal to twice your reason. B, the creature dealing the damage can spend a recovery. Or C, the creature dealing the damage can shift up to a number of squares equal to your reason score. Or D, if you damage a creature marked by you with a melee ability, the creature is taunted by you until the end of their next turn. You can't gain more than 1 benefit from the same trigger. And it'd be easy to abuse these because remember, at the start of every turn, you're getting at least 2 focus. But you also get the... Oh. It sounded like you were about to say something, Debbie. Sorry.
No.
You also gain the Strike Now ability, which is a range 10 power, targets 1 ally. The target can use a signature ability as a free triggered action, or you can spend 5 focus to target 2 allies within range 10. So very, very nice. And it is basically using your main action to let somebody do one of their core attacks. Let's see, if as mentioned, you get a signature ability from your kit. And then we get to the heroic abilities. You first get 1 that costs 3 focus. Let's see what we have. Battle Cry, which grants surges to up to 3 allies. Nice. Concussive Strike, which deals damage and inflicts daze at either melee 1 or ranged 5. Inspiring Strike, which deals damage and allies can spend a recovery. At least one ally within 10 squares of you. At the highest tier, each of you gains an edge on the next ability roll you make. Alternatively, there's Squad Forward. Yourself and 2 allies can move up to your speed.
Nice.
You also pick a 5 focus ability. So we have Hammer and Anvil, which deals damage, and one ally within 10 squares of you can use a strike signature ability against the target. And at higher tiers, it gets a edge. If the target is reduced to 0 stamina before one or both chosen allies has made their strike, the ally or allies can pick a different target.
Nice.
Although I love the flavor text. Let's not argue about who's the hammer and who's the anvil.
I like the fact that these are also ranged.
Yep, you can either do it at melee 1 or ranged 5. So we have Mind Game, which you mark the target, make a power roll, it deals damage, and inflicts weakened. And before the start of your next turn, the first time any ally deals damage to any target marked by you, that ally can spend a recovery. So we have Now. Your allies wait for your command, then unleash death. Hold! Hold!
Wait for it.
Range is 10, targets up to 3 allies. Each target can make a free strike.
So basically, you have all of your characters are flanking a boss or something, and then it's like now.
You're thinking of all-out attack from Persona.
Uh-huh.
But
Which I could definitely argue that any of the main characters of Persona would be a mastermind.
Looking cool, Joker.
Yeah, the only one I would say doesn't is Joker.
Joker kind of fits more of that insurgent, being honest, but
Yeah.
Or Shadow.
But then we have this is what we planned for. Range 10. Targets 2 allies. Each target who hasn't acted yet this combat round can make their turn in any order immediately after yours. And
So you basically get to see the turn order of everything.
and this is what we plan for our maneuvers, not main actions. So you can do the follow-up kind of approach. But then we move on
That's really,
to
it does feel like Tactician from like all the Tactician stuff from like Fire Emblem and stuff too, because like you can do a lot of like crazy crap with them as well. With especially if you double up with them, you can do a lot of stuff with them like that.
Then at second level, you gain a perk. You gain a new feature from your doctrine. So Insurgent gets Infiltration Tactics. Whenever you or an ally within 10 squares of you becomes hidden, that creature gains 1 surge. Oh, that's going to pair well with Shadows. Mastermind gains Goaded. Whenever a creature marked by you uses a strike that targets you or any ally within your line of effect, you can use a free triggered action to change the target of the strike to you or another ally within your line of effect. So I'd say that's a good way to keep the pressure off of the DPS and put it on the tank. And Vanguard gets melee superiority. Whenever you make an opportunity attack, the target's speed is reduced to 0 until the end of the current turn. When a creature marked by you attempts to move or shift within distance of your melee free strike, you can use a free triggered action and spend 2 focus to make a melee free strike against that creature.
Ooh. Oh, think you're getting away from this attack? Nope.
There is no escape.
Mm-hmm. You also get a Doctrine ability. So for Insurgent, they can get either Fog of War or Try Me Instead, both costing 5 focus. Fog of War is range 10, targets 2 creatures. Each target is marked by you and must immediately make a free strike against a creature of your choice within 5 squares of them. The mark benefit is until the end of the encounter, whenever you or any ally makes a strike against a creature marked by you, you can spend 2 focus to force that target to make a free strike against a creature of your choice within 5 squares of them. So using the whole battlefield control on the enemies as well as the allies. Or Try Me Instead. Target self. You shift up to your speed directly toward an ally, ending adjacent to them, then swapping locations with that ally as long as you can fit into each other's spaces. The ally can spend a recovery, and you can make a weapon strike within distance of melee 1, which deals damage and inflicts frightened.
Get down, Mr. President!
Mastermind can get either I've Got Your Back or Targets of Opportunity. The former deals damage and inflicts Taunted until the end of turn, along with one ally adjacent to the target can spend a recovery. The latter, both of these are ranged 5, by the way, as each target is marked by you and you get 2 surges, along with the mark benefit until the end of the encounter. Whenever you or any ally makes a strike against a creature marked by you, you can spend 2 focus to add 1 additional target to the strike. Very nice. And for the Vanguard, it can go with either No Dying on My Watch or Squad on Me. With the former, it is a triggered action that activates when a target deals damage, when the target within range 5 deals damage to an ally. You move up to your speed toward the triggering ally, ending this movement adjacent to them or in the nearest square if you can't reach an adjacent square. The triggering ally can spend a recovery and gain 5 temp stamina for each enemy you came adjacent to during the move. You then make a power roll, and the power roll is might, and the target is frightened of the triggering ally. On the other hand, we have Squad on Me, which is a 1 square burst. Until the start of your next turn, each target has a bonus to stability equal to your might score. Additionally, each target gains 2 surges.
So it's basically a rallying cry.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, stability means it's harder for you to be hit with forced movement.
Mm-hmm.
And Mario, no, the hammer does not get a dodge bonus. But at 3rd level, you gain Out of Position. At the start of an encounter, you can use a free triggered action to use your Mark ability against one enemy you have line of effect to, even if you're surprised. You can then slide that marked target up to 3 squares, ignoring stability. The target can't be moved in a way that would harm them, such as over a cliff, leave them dying, or result in them suffering a condition. You also get 1 7 focus ability. So we have Frontal Assault, which targets self until the end of the encounter or until you are dying. The first time on a turn that you or any ally deals damage to a target marked by you, the creature who dealt the damage can push the target up to 2 squares and then shift up to 2 squares. Additionally, any ally using the Charge main action to target a creature marked by you can use a Melee Strike signature ability or a Melee Strike heroic ability instead of a free strike. giving more options to your ally with that approach. We have Hit 'em Hard. Target self. It's a maneuver with a range of self. Until the end of the encounter, or until you are dying, whenever you or any ally deals damage to a target marked by you, that creature gains 2 surges, which they can use immediately.
I figured it out. You just have to hit them really, really hard.
Sounds like something Goku would say. Yes. And remember the time you've never beat him. Let's see, we have Route. Target self. Until the end of the encounter, or until you are dying, whenever you or any ally deals damage to a target marked by you who has reason average potency, the target is frightened of the creature who dealt the damage. Save ends. A lot of frightening effects, a lot of psychological warfare and actual warfare.
I'd kind of dig it, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, Tactician's just a battlefield controller, and that's great.
Yeah, it's clear that the idea with the Tactician is not to win the fight against the enemy army, but to break them so that they run off. But then we have Stay Strong and Focus. Target self until the end of the encounter or until you are dying. Whenever you or any ally deals damage to a target marked by you, the creature who dealt the damage can spend a recovery. Damn it, Amov. Come on, Kami, it'll demoralize him. And it's stuffed crust. It's cheese in the crust.
Yes.
But at 4th level, your might and reason go up to 3. You also get focus on their weaknesses. The first time each combat round you or any ally damages a target marked by you, you get 2 focus instead of 1. You also get improved field arsenal. Whenever you use a signature ability from one of your equipped kits or make a free strike using a weapon from one of your equipped kits, you gain an edge. You also get 1 perk and 1 skill. At 5th level, you get a new feature from your... You get a new feature... Actually, not a new feature, 2 new features, sorry, from your doctrine. Insurgent gets Distracted and Leave No Trace. Distracted has it that whenever you or any ally attempts to hide, the creature marked by you doesn't count as an observer. Additionally, you and your allies can use other allies as cover for the purpose of hiding. Again, Insurgent just seems like it pairs really well with somebody who's a shadow.
Mm-hmm.
And Leave No Trace, you and any ally within 10 squares of you can move at full speed while sneaking. Additionally, allies within 10 squares of you may take a Bane on tests made to search for you or your allies while any of you are hidden. Somebody's probably done Insurgent as a ninja build.
I mean, it's like you said, it probably would pair really well with the Shadow, so...
Yeah, and Insurgent really feels like the Special Forces Commander build. But Mastermind gets Anticipation, and I predicted that. The former being you can target 2 creatures with Mark, and I predicted that. That's you and any ally within 10 squares of you gain an edge on reason tests. Vanguard gets Shake It Off and Tactical Offensive. For the former, as a free maneuver, you can spend 1d6 stamina to ignore a consequence from a test, or to end one effect on you that is ended by a saving throw, or that ends at the end of your turn. Any ally adjacent to you can also spend stamina as a free maneuver to gain this benefit. So instead of using a saving throw, which might succeed or fail, you can just spend 1d6 stamina to just instantly end a debuff.
Walk it off.
Mm-hmm. And Tactical Offensive, when you use the charge main action to attack a creature marked by you, you can use a signature or heroic ability with the melee and strike keywords instead of a melee free strike. At 5th level, you also gain a 9 focus ability. First, we have Squad Gear Check. Deals damage, and you and each ally adjacent to the target gain 10 temp stamina. Or Squad, remember your training. Range 10, targets self and 2 allies. Each target gains 1 surge and can use a signature ability that has a double edge.
Holy crap!
We have Win This Day. It's a 3-square burst, targets yourself and each ally in the area. Each target gets 2 surges. Additionally, they can spend a recovery, remove any conditions or effects on them, and stand up if they are prone. And yeah, you've still got something left. Range 10 effect, targets 1 ally. The target uses a heroic ability with the strike keyword as a free triggered action, and deals extra damage with that ability equal to your reason score. The ability has its heroic resource cost reduced by 1 plus your reason score. Minimum cost 0. I think what it means is that the heroic ability the target uses, it has a reduced cost, not the one you're using. Because believe in the me that believes in you. I did mention that one of the Warlord builds was the Kamina build back in the day. So, precedent. But then we have the features at 6th level. You gain Master of Arms. Hey, that sounds familiar.
I do not have a character that has that ability at all.
Whenever you use a signature ability from one of your equipped kits, or make a free strike using a weapon from one of your equipped kits, you can negate a Bane on the power roll, or reduce a double Bane to a Bane. Very nice. You also get 1 Exploration, Interpersonal, or Intrigue perk. And you gain a new Doctrine ability choice. Each of these will cost 9 focus. So Insurgent gets Coordinated Execution and Panic in Their Lines. Or I should say, not and. So the former, range 10, targets 1 ally, triggered when the target uses an ability to deal rolled damage to a creature while hidden. If the target of the triggering ability is not a leader or solo, they are reduced to 0 stamina. If the target of the triggering ability is a minion, the entire squad is killed. If the target of the triggering ability is a leader or solo, the triggering ability power roll automatically obtains a tier 3 outcome. Again, an Insurgent Shadow combo is going to be a royal pain in the ass, especially the Shadow Artillery build that was suggested to me a week ago.
Especially because, as I understand it, this basically jibs anything.
Ludicrous Jibs?
Yes. Ludicrous jibs.
Alternatively, we have Panic in Their Lines, which deals damage, slides the target, targets 2 creatures that are within melee rank 1 or ranged 5. And if the target is forced moved into another creature, they must make a free strike against that creature. It's the 3-body problem.
Ruh-roh.
No, 3-body collision, not 3-body problem. That's a whole other thing. But you are essentially playing ping pong. The Mastermind can get either Battle Plan or Hustle. Battle Plan, each target is within... You have 3 creatures within range 10 that are marked by you. Immediately and until the end of the encounter, the director tells you if any creatures marked by you have damage immunity or weakness and the value of that immunity or weakness. Additionally, you and each ally within 3 squares of you gains 2 surges. The marked benefit is until the end of the encounter, whenever you or any ally makes a strike against a creature marked by you, you can spend 2 focus to make the strike ignore damage immunity and deal extra damage equal to your reason score times 3. Calling that battle plan is certainly apropos.
Mr. Amov in the chat, Shadow Tactician wins. Fatality? I mean, sure. With that combo, yes, I could see that.
Mastermind also has Hustle as an option. It's a 2-square burst, targets yourself and each ally in the area. You mark 2 enemies within 10 squares of you. Each target can then shift up to their speed, and you and each target gain 2 surges.
So not only can they move up to the enemy, but the next turn they're going to hit really hard.
Mm-hmm. You thought we were kidding with that whole hit him really hard.
Nope.
But Vanguard can get either instant retaliation or to me squad. The former is a triggered action that activates when a creature deals damage to the target, one ally within melee 1. The target takes half the damage, you then make a power roll against the triggering creature. It is a might power roll that inflicts dazed. Or to me squad. I can't read that without hearing to me my X-Men.
Great, now you brought back memories of me playing the arcade game.
Well, I was playing you saw me playing Cosmic Invasion the other night.
Yep. I'm still playing that.
Mm-hmm. So, range is melee 1, targets 1 creature. It is a power roll, deals damage, and you and an ally within 10 squares can use the charge main action as a free triggered action, and can use a melee strike signature ability instead of a free strike. And if the target is hit with 2 or more strikes as part of this ability, and they have strong resolve potency, they are dazed state save ends if the target is reduced to 0 stamina before one or both allies has made their strike. The ally or allies can pick a different target. And I have to correct myself. At tier 3 for To Me Squad, 2 allies instead of 1 can use the effect. But at 7th level, each of your characteristics goes up by 1 to a max of 4. You gain heightened focus, so each turn you generate 3 focus instead of 2. You also gain Seize the Initiative. If you're not surprised when combat begins, your side gets to go first. If the enemy has an ability that allows their side to go first, you roll as usual. You also gain 1 skill of your choice and a new doctrine feature. So Insurgent gets Asymmetric Warfare. You have advanced your skills in Subterfuge. And during a montage test or negotiation, you can obtain 1 automatic success on a test made using a skill from the Intrigue skill group. Additionally, you can use skills from the Intrigue skill group to conceal large groups of people, such as escaping civilians and groups of guerrilla warriors. Let's see, Mastermind gets Grand Strategy. And I was like, you mean tactical fuckery? Yes. Advanced tactical fuckery. Grand Strategy. During a montage test or negotiation, you can obtain 1 automatic success on a test made using a skill from the Lore skill group. Additionally, when you take a respite, you can make a project roll for a research project in addition to undertaking another respite activity. And last being Shock and Awe, which the Vanguard gets, not to be confused with Schlock and Awe.
But enough about the Civi video.
During a montage test or negotiation, you can obtain 1 automatic success on a test made using a skill from the Interpersonal skill group. Additionally, you can convince a group of people to help you with a crafting project during a respite. If these people are available when you take a respite, you can make a project roll for a crafting project in addition to undertaking another respite activity. I know it'd be tempting to say that BJ Blazkowicz in Return to Castle Wolfenstein is Insurgent, but no, he's a Fury.
Mm-hmm.
And Emma's like, ask the clans about tactical fuckery during the Battle of Tukid. Better yet, ask Smoke Jaguar about tactical fuckery during the Battle of Tukid. Oh wait, you can't. They don't exist. And yeah, I know that was Operation Bulldog technically, but still. I find it funny that Smoke Jaguar was such assholes that when they got attacked, all the clans were like, that sounds like not my problem. But at 8th level, you gain a perk. You gain a new Doctrine feature. So Insurgent gets Bait and Ambush. I'm up going, holy shit, is that Nerdani Light Horse? Oh. So you gain a new mark benefit. Whenever you or an ally makes a strike against a creature marked by you, you can spend 2 focus to let the creature marking the strike shift a number of squares equal to your reason score, and use the hide maneuver as a free maneuver once during the shift. The creature can shift before or after the strike is resolved. Which that definitely fits Insurgent. Let's see. Mastermind gets pincer movement, which is another mark benefit. When you or any ally makes a strike against a creature marked by you, you can spend 2 focus to have the creature marking the strike shift up to a number of squares equal to your reason score before the strike is resolved. If you didn't make the strike, you can make this shift as well. If you did make the strike, one ally within 10 squares of you can make this shift as well.
Okay, the Vanguard one is officially my favorite.
Ah, yes. What is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women. I'm not gonna do an Arnie accent as well as Maddie, but it's very much what we're getting here.
Yes.
Their mark benefit for this is when you or any ally makes a melee strike against a creature marked by you, you can spend 2 focus to have the creature making the strike push the target up to a number of squares equal to your reason score. That character can then shift up to a number of squares equal to your reason score, ending the shift adjacent to the target. Amo says, I see Caiaphas Cain as a tactician. I see him as an insurgent because he tries, or because he is the worst insurgent possible due to all the attempts to run away. Unfortunately, that runaway gets misinterpreted. Or does it? But then we have the fact that at 8th level you get a 11 focus ability. So we have Go Now and Speed Well. Range is 10, targets yourself or one ally. The target gains 2 surges and can use a signature or heroic ability as a free triggered action. This ability has a double edge on the power roll, ignores damage immunity, and increases the potency of any potency effects by 1.
That's dangerous.
Let's see, we have Finish Them. Emob, you caused that one. Range 10 effect is a free triggered effect that targets one creature. The trigger is the target is not a leader or solo creature and becomes winded. Remember, winded is below half health. The target is then killed. Additionally, the creature who caused the target to be winded can spend a recovery.
So, glory kill.
Yep. Actually, because you're having to spend a resource, it's more like chainsaw kill.
Fair enough. I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
But you also have Floodgates Open. Range 10, targets 3 allies. Each target gains 1 surge and can use a signature ability as a free triggered action. That ability gains an edge on the power roll and increases the potency of any potency effects by 1. And the last of the 11 focus is I'll open and you close. It is the one strike in this group, deals damage based on power roll, and one ally within 10 squares of you can use a heroic ability against the target as a free triggered action without spending any of their heroic resource, as long as they have enough to pay for it. If the target is reduced to 0 stamina, you can pick a different target.
That's also dangerous. Holy crap.
Oh. Let's see. At 9th level, you get Grandmaster of Arms. Why does that sound familiar?
Couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
Whenever you use a signature ability from one of your equipped kits, or make a free strike using a weapon from one of your equipped kits, you automatically obtain a tier 3 outcome on the power roll. You still roll to see if you to get a critical hit. You auto hit for max damage with your kit. What the fuck?
Yep.
Like, I know there's no missing when it comes to attack rolls because of how the game works, but still.
Now I see why you were looking forward to this so much.
I didn't even plan on that one. You also get a new heroic ability from your Doctrine. Insurgent gets either Squad, Hit and Run, or the lack of focus is their undoing. For the former, range 10 targets yourself and 2 allies. Each target gains 2 surges and can use a free triggered action to use a signature ability that gains an edge. After resolving their ability, each target can shift up to 2 squares and become hidden, even if they have no cover or concealment, or if they are observed. So it definitely fits hit and run.
Yep.
Their lack of focus is their undoing, is a ranged one, targets 3 enemies. Each target uses a signature ability against 1 or more targets of your choosing. Wait, why did it say 3 enemies if it's that? With each ability automatically obtaining a tier 3 outcome on the power roll. After resolving the target's abilities, you make a power roll against each original target. And that power roll inflicts dazed. At 9th level, for Mastermind, you get either Blot Out the Sun, Then We Will Fight in the Shade, or Counter Strategy. With the former, what makes a good soldier? The ability to fire 4 shots a minute in any weather. Why am I immediately thinking of the movie Glory? But Blot Out the Sun is a 3-square burst, targets yourself and each ally in the area. Each target can make a ranged free strike that gains an edge against any enemy marked by you within distance of their ranged free strike. A target ignores Banes and double Banes when making this strike. On the other hand, we have Counter Strategy. Targets yourself, you gain 6 surges. Until the end of the encounter or until you're dying, whenever the director spends malice, we'll get to that later, choose yourself or one ally within 10 squares. The chosen character gains 2 of their heroic resource.
So this is just trolling the director, pretty much.
The Vanguard can get either No Escape or That One Is Mine. No Escape is a melee strike, targets 1 creature. you mark the target and do damage. If you use this ability as part of the charge main action, enemy spaces don't count as difficult terrain for your movement. Additionally, if you move through any creature's space, you can slide that creature 1 square out of the path of your charge.
Good lord.
And that one is mine. Is either melee 1 or ranged 5. The target is marked, they take damage, and until the end of the encounter or until you are dying, you can use a signature or heroic ability instead of a free strike against any target marked by you.
Nice.
I love the subtitle. You focus on making an enemy irrelevant. Tell me that's not a troll.
It was, then it wasn't anymore.
Fair.
But then we get to 10th level. You get, at 10th level, your Might and Reason go up to 5. You get your Epic resource, Command. Each time you finish a respite, you gain Command equal to the XP you gain. You can spend Command on abilities as if it was Focus. Additionally, whenever you or any ally uses an ability to deal rolled damage to a creature marked by you, you can spend 1 Command as a free triggered action to increase the power roll outcome for that target by 1 tier. Whenever an enemy marked by you makes an ability roll, you can spend 1 Command as a free triggered action to decrease the power roll outcome by 1 tier. Command remains until you spend it. Imagine how dickish you could go with that, with say an opponent rolling tier 3 and then you spend Command to say, nope, that is not tier 3.
It's tier 2.
Mm-hmm. You also gain 1 Exploration, Interpersonal, or Intrigue perk. You gain 1 skill. You gain True Focus, so at the start of each of your turns, you're getting 4 focus instead of 3. And you gain War Master. You have mastered the entirety of possible strategies and tactics whenever you or any ally makes an ability roll against a target marked by you. The character making the roll can roll 3 dice and choose which 2 to use. Additionally, whenever an ally uses a heroic ability that targets 1 or more creatures marked by you, they spend 2 fewer of their heroic resource on that ability to a minimum of 1.
Nice.
And we had certainly a lot of marked abuse when it came to the censor, but the Tactician is the king of marking, I'd say. But now, to answer the question on my end about whether or not this carries the spirit of what the 4E Warlord was supposed to be, yes, and then some. It's like 3/4 of the abilities that we have here are my party is my weapon. So this is definitely fulfilling that. And Sagan, I know you had said earlier that you also didn't feel that the Battlemaster fit the Warlord thing. Besides what I had said earlier, were there any other reasons that came to mind for you?
See, let me go back into the book again. Because it's mostly... Because I feel like the Battlemaster fighter just focuses more on either defending themselves or basically reducing damage. Here, you're basically the commander of an army. With the Battlemaster fighter, you're basically just focused on yourself. I mean, sure, you have other abilities that can give your allies advantage or not, but nothing to the extent of this.
Mm-hmm. But outside of that, what do you guys think of the Tactician as a class?
I I really do like this battle support classes.
You don't see many of these. Definitely not.
I think it'd be really fun to play.
Especially if you have a nice shadow.
Yeah, Shadow and the way I see it, if you're picking Insurgent, you should have at least one person who's playing Shadow. If you're with the other ones are Mastermind, I feel like is going to be the one that's going to get picked the most because it is the most flexible. Vanguard is you are a frontline commander and fighter. In fact, I'd say Vanguard is the closest to the typical fighter, but not really. If you want to lead from the front and be fighting alongside, say, a Fury or a Null or any melee focused class, you're probably picking Vanguard. If you want to hang out and be the lazy lord, you're probably picking Mastermind. It's not to say that the others can't as well. And the thing that makes this even crazier is the whole use two kits.
And to Joe's point, not only would a Shadow be good here, but a Sensor would also be really good.
Or a Null.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there is no reason you shouldn't have at least one of these guys in your party.
Yeah, I'm not
Sure.
I'm not saying they should be required the way that the 3rd edition cleric was required, but the reason I think I understand why the Tactician was one of the first classes shown in the early days of this project when it was known as the MCDM RPG, because it is the purest expression of the tactical feel that it wants to go for. If you playing Tactician is going to require a strong understanding of positioning. The one thing I feel bad for with people who are jumping into this game, although I kind of don't, is if you come into this looking for the basic fighter, you're not going to find it. Like what? I'm looking at the classes that we have. None of them would really fit the fighter in that sense. The closest might be the Tactician, but only because of the whole thing with kits. I look at that as more of a commentary on how broad and non-specific the fighter archetype is, and its reputation as the basic bitch character. A reputation I don't care for because obviously I want people to have some variety with their martial characters, but it is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, could I argue some of the fighters in the Fury? No, the Fury's too much of a barbarian.
Yeah, definitely.
And
how many more classes do we have anyway?
2. And I will note earlier, I said the Conduit is analogous to a cleric. I would like to amend that.
Okay.
Because as I look back at it, I realize that there is one. There's one archetype that much better fits it, and that is the Invoker. The Invoker has more of a direct line to divine magic. They were essentially a divine controller. A bit tankier than the arcane controller, which was the wizard. but a lot of focus on radiant damage, a lot of a lot of focus on covenants as opposed to just divine casting, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But and given how it's talking about the power of the gods flowing through you, it feels much more like the invoker than the cleric. Censor being the equivalent of paladin, that I'm still keeping. But the next class that we will be tackling, which will be in 2 weeks, is the talent. The talent is the psychic, which means I will have to talk once again about how completely busted and insane scions have been in D&D's history, and some of the really really stupid ideas that psychics had in the early days with AD&D.
Yeah,
Which
you're not wrong.
I remember when I talked with Ernie about it, and he had said we tried, it just didn't work. There were some bad ideas. I'll also take a shot at the attempt at Scions with 5e. Reducing Scion to a wizard subclass, which was the complete opposite of what people asked for. It is so opposite.
Mm-hmm.
It's like running the opposite direction, lapping around the fucking planet, and going full circle.
And then finding out to reverse the spin of the Earth in order to turn back time? Like, what is this, Superman?
But point is, it'll be interesting to cover that, because a big problem that's happened with psionics in fantasy games, and this is something I did talk about a few years ago, is a lot of times it feels like just a reflavored sorcerer. And Ammo says, wasn't that one of the editions where you could totally travel your character at creation? No, that wasn't the problem, but there were other problems. And we will hopefully get to those in about 2 weeks. But I said 2 weeks because we are coming up on the 3-in-1 rule. And originally I had planned to cover Never Knows Best for this one. But since its Kickstarter recently finished, I'm going to be doing a pivot, and for the first time in quite a while, the Valley of the Judge will be tackling a Year Zero project.
Oh.
Okay.
Because I think for next week, we will be looking at the quick start for Invincible.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that around. That looks pretty cool, actually.
This one, it has my interest because I want to see how Year Zero is going to be able to handle supers. Since
I'm just glad we didn't get hit with the title card.
Because Year Zero, if you look at the other games in that line, they're very low power. Alien, Forbidden Lands, Vaesen. I think the closest thing to high power would be Eldritch Automata, which is a third-party Free League project. But Twilight 2000, Blade Runner, Mutant Year Zero, The Walking Dead, which came out a few years too late, but that's another story. These aren't exactly high-power fantasy kind of games. Even Coriolis, which I covered in the past. Invincible is a superhero setting. Can you do low power superhero? Yeah, but we've all seen clips of Invincible. That is not low power.
What are you talking about? He's totally a street level here.
You couldn't even
Sorry, I
finish
couldn't
that.
even finish that. No, I couldn't.
Same brain.
No, this isn't City of Heroes. Now come on.
We almost did get a City of
I
Heroes
miss City
TTRPG.
of Villains.
We almost got a City of Heroes TTRPG, and I have the old Quick Start PDF for it, but it never came to be.
That actually kind of makes me sad.
Yeah, I miss being a mastermind.
On the other hand, there are a few games that are very much carrying the spirit of City of Heroes. One of which was in the Cloister last week.
I remember. That was fun.
Indominant, the polymorph system that powers mazes, the guy behind that has cited City of Heroes as a major inspiration because of the whole power set and role thing that it has. That City of Heroes had. So even if we didn't get the named City of Heroes RPG, we've gotten the closest thing to that. And
Probably for the best.
it might be the City of Heroes RPG that was in the works was being handled by Alderac, but then nothing came of it.
Yeah.
But I guess, like I said, there are always solutions to these kind of problems. Even if the solution isn't the perfect one, there are ones that are going to fill the niche. But that's something to keep an eye out for next week. So until then, on behalf of the good brothers present and not present, my name is Mildra. I am your gaming monk. Stay fucking frosty, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.